Upheaval, Reckoning, Chapter 46. A Pair of Folds. Rainbow Dash pressed herself against the wall and inched along the length of it. Every open window meant danger. A single inch of her body exposed would swiftly invite an arrow to make its new home there. Longstride was standing on a perch somewhere out there, his bow drawn and his weird golden eyes searching for his target. While it didn't make any sense why he would want to shoot her now, she wasn't taking any chances. Her flank still ached from that last poisoned arrow, and memories of her time with that off-a-died slaver still lingered at the very edges of her thoughts. "Hey, Rainbow! What are you doing there?" Rainbow nearly jumped. "Shush!" she hissed at Scarlet. "Get down!" Scarlet crouched next to her. "Why are we hiding?" he asked. "It's Longstride," Rainbow whispered. "He's out there and I want to get him without getting shot at." Scarlet laughed. "Longstride's not going to shoot at you." Rainbow raised an eyebrow. "They've got some kind of ceasefire going on while we deal with whatever attacked the Royal Palace. Besides, the Sons ran off as soon as all the fighting was over." "That can't be right," Rainbow said. She chewed on her lower lip. Scarlet's response should have let her relax, but all it did was irritate her some more. "You mean they just came here to help fight Gravitas' soldiers and went away?" "Well, they might be hanging around somewhere in Canterlot," Scarlet said. "You know Black Rose's agents." "No," Rainbow muttered. "I don't know the first thing about Black Rose's agents. That's the problem." "So what are you going to do if you find him anyway?" Scarlet asked. "Kill him? We're sort of bound not to, you know. Heard it was Princess Celestia's orders." "He shot me in the flank." Rainbow grit her teeth. The pain and humiliation of that moment flashed within her mind again. She now understood why she hated being stuck in bed. Staying still made her think things through, and she hated doing that. Confined to that bed, she had thought about plenty of things, from how she felt about raising Scarlet to her time as an off-a-died captive, to that time when she felt something she was so sure was related to the element of loyalty. Also among them was how Longstride managed to hit her from so far away, even though she was going very fast. "He deserves a bolt where his cutie mark should be." She eyed the crossbow she had strapped to her side. "I'd beat him up at least." "Sounds fun," Scarlet said. "He also shot me in the flank, so I'd love to go too." "But—" "Yeah," Scarlet smiled sheepishly. "The captain's got me saddled with a bunch of things to do before the Legion moves out for Skymirror Lake. Hope you catch him, Rainbow Dash. Bloody his snout for me, will you?" Scarlet disappeared in a blink. His speed no longer surprised Rainbow, nor did his nonchalant violence. After what had happened to them with the Ophadites, she agreed with Vanguard Clash. Too much had been taken away from Scarlet to give him his speed and power. Some of her admiration had turned into pity. How would have Scarlet turned out if those snake monsters hadn't messed him up? Would he have been so much happier? She shook her head. She had other things to take care of. Things like hunting down a Paxus sniper and beating some answers out of him. Rainbow rubbed her jaw with a hoof. Now where would some pony armed with a bow that could shoot at anything in sight be? The most obvious location would be the highest tower in all of Canterlot, the spot where Princess Celestia and Princess Luna would go to watch out for their subjects during times of trouble. Some legionnaires called it the Peeping Nest. She supposed that it could be used for that as well. Longstride could certainly use it to get his sights on anything he wanted in Canterlot. However, that spot was highly exposed. Any pony would be able to tell that there was a sniper there as soon as Longstride took his first shot. No, it had to be a well-hidden spot that had a good vantage point. "Not going to shoot me, huh?" Rainbow thought. Scarlet's words did make some sense. During the earlier fight, Longstride was actually helping them. If he had wanted to assassinate her, he had plenty of chances. Still, her heart beat faster when she dared to peek out a window. She stuck as little of her head out as possible. For the first time in her life, she cursed at her very visible rainbow-colored mane. No arrow struck her head, however, allowing her a good look at the cityscape. Canterlot loved its long, thin spires. A single sweep revealed dozens of potential hiding places. She sat back down. Here was another time to think things through. Rainbow considered asking for help. Special Operations had a lot of ponies out there to keep an eye and an ear on things. They probably already knew where Longstride had holed up. At least they should have a really good idea. However, she didn't want to involve the Legion in this. They'd want to do things their way. They might try to arrest him or chase him away. That wasn't how she wanted things to happen. It would be better if she could fight Longstride without a squad of Legionnaires insisting on doing things by the book. Rainbow's friends might be the better choice. Fluttershy was out of the question. She was strong in her own way and good at a lot of things. Hunting down a Pegasus sniper was not one of them. She was also a goody four-shoes, more likely to protect Longstride if they did get the jump on him. Applejack would just scold Rainbow for focusing on this instead of resting up like the princesses told them to. Rarity would do the same. Rainbow didn't want to try. Applejack might use that magic chain to lasso her and tie her to a bed while Rarity would keep her fenced with those blades. There was no doubt that Twilight Sparkle would have a spell or two to help track down and detain Longstride, or blow him up, electrocute him, freeze him in a block of ice, and melt him into a puddle. But Twilight was also guaranteed to be working on something more important than chasing after a thorn. She could be researching spells to use against Gravitas. She'd snap at any pony who dared to disturb her. That left Pinkie Pie. "Yep, it's all up to me," Rainbow thought. She marked each spire in her mind and created a route to check each of them out without double-backing and alerting Longstride. She stretched her wings. They twitched with restless, pent-up energy and she hadn't even started warming up. Every encounter she had with Longstride, she hadn't been aware that he was already watching. This time would be different. She was going to match her speed against his sight. This time she was going to win. The window frame in the palace hall was gone in a heartbeat. The overcast sky suggested more of Fenrir's snow for the quickly approaching night. There wasn't much time to work with. The cityscape turned into a white blur as she flew into her first target. She stopped by one tower just long enough to peer into the window. When she saw nothing, she moved on. She resisted the urge to follow a descending order. That would be too predictable. Her chosen route moved up and down as erratically as she could make it. It seemed to be working too. She still didn't have an arrow in her flank. More windows, none of which held what she wanted to see, streaked past her vision. She heard a couple of screams, some surprised gasps, an angry curse, and a desperate shout of, "This isn't what it looks like." Still no Longstride. She had zipped through nearly all of Canterlot's higher spires when doubt began to trickle in. Maybe Longstride wasn't even in the city. Maybe he did run back to his mistress's lair as soon as he was done helping against Karo artifacts. One window brought her to a sudden stop. She recognized the unicorn stallion lounging on a sofa and cleaning a curved blade. He spotted her too, and his horn flashed briefly when did so. Rainbow squinted at the light and then recognized who he was. "What a pleasant surprise, Rainbow Dash. I would have thought you'd be resting by now." Lioncourt sheathed his blade and walked over to the window. "Hi, Lioncourt," Rainbow replied. "I'm looking for Longstride. Do you know where he is?" Lioncourt stroked his impressive beard with a hoof. "Longstride? No, why would you be looking for him?" Rainbow Dash slammed her front hoofs together. "To beat him up for shooting me. Oh, and to, ask him stuff." Lioncourt chuckled and grinned. There was something so predatory about the way he did so that Rainbow shuddered. "I suppose he does have it coming. You won't find Longstride in the city. He's holed up in a niche near the summit of Mount Unicornia." Rainbow frowned. "Holed up in a niche?" she asked. "What's he doing up there?" "His idea of being on standby. Don't worry about getting shot at if you approach him. The mistress told him to give you a break after what he put you through." Rainbow's frown only deepened. She didn't need a break. Black Rose and Longstride had some nerve treating her like a filly. "I'm off then," she said. "Wait," Lioncourt called out. A small box floated towards Rainbow. "Give Longstride this when you get to him, will you? He's probably putting up with dried fruit when should experience what Canterlot cuisine has to offer." Sure," Rainbow replied. With the box secured to her barding, she gave Lioncourt a short wave. "I'm going now." Lioncourt's smile widened. "Take care, Rainbow Dash. Don't strain yourself. A lot is expected from you in the coming days." Before Rainbow could take off, the door to his room opened and 3 mares with cutie marks entered. They giggled at Lioncourt as he approached. "Ladies," he said. Rainbow flew off before she had to see anything else. She made her way to the top of the mountain. Up there, with Canterlot swarms and lights at a distance, the cold winds buffeted her hard enough to give her pause. Lioncourt was right. She shouldn't be straining herself with something so important coming up. She should fly back to the city and get some rest. Longstride could wait. Except that he was holed up out here, probably reacting to this cold about as much as a tombstone would. He might even be observing her right now. If she fled, he'd shake his head in disgust. Just imagining it was enough to push her forward. She circled the mountain peak, looking for some niche that could shelter a pony. Eventually, she spotted a rocky overhang that looked suspicious. When she flew over to inspect it, she spotted a small opening into the mountainside. A closer look revealed the dim glow of a fire. "Gotcha!" she thought. She lingered by the entrance long enough to check for snares or what's not before swiftly flying in. The cave was nothing more than a short corridor of natural rock. The entrance was barely large enough to fit Rainbow, and she considered herself particularly sleek. A small fire flickered on the floor, serving more to fill the cave with shadows than light. And there was Longstride, his back to the wall at the back of the cave. He looked up just as a silhouette filled the entrance. Rainbow could barely contain herself. She got him. The chances were slim, but she got him. For an instant, the two of them stared at each other blankly. Rainbow's mouth opened, but no words came out. Her hoofs twitched, but they didn't go for anything. She was going to lose her chance, but what was she going to do? He was going to recover. If she didn't act now, the first arrow was going to fly. She flapped her wings. The next thing she knew, she had struck Longstride's midriff head first, slamming him into the cave wall so hard that dust fell from the low ceiling. His hurt grunt and the whoosh of breath being forced out of his body jolted her into pure instinctive motion. Her hoof smashed into his face. His head bounced off the rock wall with a crunch, then hit the floor. He rolled from the impact a few more times before stopping on his back. She was on top of him in an instant. Rainbow's hoof had struck Longstride's face a second time when her thoughts finally got up. Something wasn't right. Longstride had raised his forelegs to defend himself, but the surprise should be long gone now. He still wasn't fighting back. She stopped, still defensive, but also curious. The haze of violence lifted and details of her surroundings began to register. Longstride's bow had flown from him after the initial strike and now lay just a few feet from the entrance. Their scuffle had scattered some of the piled pieces of wood he was burning, reducing the fire to a spluttering, barely glowing mess of ash and cinder. Longstride lowered his forelegs. Despite the blood trickling from his nose and lips, he kept his gaze locked onto Rainbow. His strange golden irises seemed to glow slightly, making it easy to notice them despite the darkness all around. They did have strange letters around them after all. What did they mean? And just how much were they capable of? "Are you done?" Longstride asked. He wheezed, then spat out a glob of bloody blem. Rainbow raised a hoof and brought it down on his face. Hesitation felt like chains dragging her foreleg back. She stopped with her hoof just an inch away. Despite how close the blow was, Longstride didn't even flinch. "No!" Rainbow grit her teeth and raised her front hoof again, but the feel of Longstride's body crumpling against her strikes, elating and satisfying as it was just moments ago, left her nauseous. It wasn't fair. He shot her in the flank and left her to an Orphodite slaver. He deserved so much more than this little beating. "Why aren't you fighting back?" she asked. "To what end?" Longstride replied. "Kill me if you have the nerve. Equestria is doomed. You are so stupid that the elements of harmony are bound to fail. What difference does it make if I die now or a few days from now?" This time Rainbow completed the blow. Her hoof struck Longstride's snout and banged it against the rock floor. Instead of being satisfied, she winced.
I know what you're doing, she said. You're trying to psych me out. This must be some kind of mind trick snipers use when their targets get too close.
Psyching you out requires that you actually use your brain, you stupid mare, Longstride said.
Then why don't you fight back?
Rainbow grabbed Longstride by the shoulders and tried to slam him against the ground again. Her forelegs trembled from the effort, and she contented herself with just shaking him vigorously.
You shot me in the flank. What's stopping you now?
Longstride kept his gaze locked onto Rainbow Dash, even though she shook him hard enough to rattle his teeth. Go back to Canterlot already, he said once the shaking stopped. You're not here to kill me. You would have used that crossbow already if you were.
I want you to answer some questions first,
Rainbow retorted. She pinned Longstride's shoulders to the floor.
Why'd you shoot me?
Orders.
I know that part. Why were you ordered to?
Get off me. It's hard to talk with your hindquarters on my belly.
Yeah, right, and let you grab your bow to shoot me?
Longstride sighed, wincing as he did so. I'm not going to shoot you, stupid mare. My orders were to leave you alone while you rested up before going to Sky Mirror Lake. Has it not occurred to you to question why I'm alone in a cave instead of keeping an eye on you? Rainbow slowly led Longstride back to his hoofs. She loaded and aimed her crossbow at him while he gathered the scattered logs to restart his fire. Longstride's wild green mane looked even more disheveled after the beating he had taken. Rainbow wondered if he used his leafy hair and his wooden-brown coat to his advantage by resembling a bush for camouflage. His leather barding looked a bit scuffed, but was otherwise fine. As for his face, his cheeks and forehead were already swelling. He bled from several scrapes on his head, a small tear by his ear, his busted lip, and broken nose. He moved his jaw around, then spat at the corner. Something small and hard skittered across the stone. She considered returning the favor and shooting his flank. But what if the shot left him unable to talk? She still had something to ask. She shuddered at the thought of having to nurse him until he was well enough to answer.
Well,
she muttered.
Scarlet said something about a ceasefire. Then Lion called, but I had to be sure.
Longstride frowned when she mentioned Lioncourt. Is that how you found me here? He asked. Lioncourt told you?
Yeah, he even asked me to give you...
Rainbow stopped when a sharp pain seized her head. Lioncourt asked her to do what? Something wasn't right here. Weren't Longstride and Lioncourt friends? Why was she doing Lioncourt favors?
Ow, hey, wait, he's a Thorn, just like you. How did he...
She looked to the small box strapped to her barding.
And he even got me to deliver your dinner.
Longstride searched the floor for a while, then picked up what looked like pieces of metal and stone. He struck them together, sending sparks onto the gathered bits of wood. It appears you have a brain after all, he said flatly. Lioncourt had to manipulate something. His voice lowered to an angry mutter. He's going to pay for this.
So why were you ordered to shoot me in the flank?
Lioncourt settled into a corner once the fire was going again. The Ophidites are masters of turning ponies against their kin. If anything can draw out the element of loyalty, it's them. I shot you so you'd be captured, so the Ophidites could test you.
I could have been killed.
Longstride's eyes narrowed. Better that you had died then, better to have you fail at that point instead of during a more crucial time. Rainbow's grip on her crossbow tightened until it started to tremble. She flew into him, shoving him against the cave's wall and forcing him to rear up.
I'll shoot you right now, she growled. You're all alone in this hole. You've got no pony coming to bail you out. You're both out of reach, and I've got a bolt to your face. Who'd be the stupid mare then, huh?
Longstride still remained unflinching, even when the bolt pressed hard enough to draw blood. You, he said, seeing as you're the only mare here. Rainbow jammed her crossbow's stock just below Longstride's ribs before backing up. He doubled over, coughing and wheezing, but he still didn't look away from her.
And you're so great and smart, right? She asked. You and your super eyes and super bow and your super secret group.
Longstride righted himself and sat down. He was breathing hard when he answered. You don't understand, stupid mare. Not surprising with your short-sighted bumbling. He looked over to the bow still lying by the cave's entrance. A great sacrifice was made to create that bow. He touched his eye with a hoof. Another was made to create the eyes that could use it to its potential. A third to create the back that won't break while a lifetime was spent to master it. He settled down and caught his breath. It's not about me being smart and great. It's about making sure that everything I do is worthy of what I've been given. Rainbow pressed her lips together. She hated the idea of it, but she did feel as if she was shrinking when his gaze went from contemptuous to angry. Yet here you are, blessed with natural talent abundant enough for 12 ponies, graced with a destiny worthy of so much sacrifice. You threaten to waste it all on what? Proving that you are the fastest? Revenge? You were given an important time to rest and prepare for a difficult time ahead. Instead, you wasted your energy chasing after me. I thought you had gained some measure of caution during your ordeal, stupid mare. I was wrong. What a fool I was for having face. Rainbow stepped back and lowered her crossbow.
I know I should be resting, but I knew you were around, she said softly. I wasn't sure if I could find any other time to ask.
Ask what? What's so important for you to know that you'd risk the fate of Equestria to find out? Rainbow rolled her eyes.
Oh, stop being so dramatic. Is everything always about the fate of Equestria to you, Thorns?
Longstride continued to stare quietly, leaving Rainbow flustered.
Back in Ghastly Gorge, with that stallion, she said quietly. Why'd you save me?
The contempt in Longstride's gaze disappeared. For the first time since Rainbow burst into the cave, he looked away. I don't know. Rainbow's frown returned.
What do you mean you don't know?
I shouldn't have, Longstride said. But I did. I don't know why. Rainbow nearly dropped the crossbow. She grit her teeth as her chest drew tight. Her breathing grew shallow and rapid.
You don't know, huh?
She asked, forcing as much mocking in her tone as possible.
Guess you're a stupid stallion doing things without thinking.
Yes, that's true.
Don't admit it,
Rainbow snapped.
You're taking away the satisfaction.
Are you done? Longstride asked. Take what revenge you want and try to salvage some rest out of this fiasco. Rainbow lowered her crossbow.
You risked my life, then you saved me. I'm not going to kill you just this once. You better have an answer when we meet again.
She faced the exit and flapped her wings. When she approached outside, however, the bitter, howling wind of the full-blown blizzard sent her running back in.
Fall of a neck,
she said, her teeth chattering.
That's cold.
Stupid mare, Longstride muttered. So much for your dramatic farewell. Rainbow sat opposite of the stallion.
Great, now every pony will think I've gone missing again.
She fell on her tail and rested her chin on her forelegs. Longstride fiddled with his collar. This is Longstride, he said. Sablesteel, are you there?
I'm busy, Longstride,
came a very angry reply from a mare. The element of loyalty is here with me atop Mount Unicornia. Please relay this information to the rest of the elements of harmony. She will return once the blizzard passes.
How in the Moon Princess is star-sprankled? Never mind. I'll get the information to them. Don't mess things up further, Longstride. And don't try anything stupid while the two of you are up there.
Longstride turned from his collar and looked at the fire.
It's Rainbow Dash,
Rainbow told him. He looked at her questioningly. Rainbow pushed a piece of wood closer to the fire and hugged herself for warmth. There was no blanket around, but she'd sooner freeze than snuggle.
My name's Rainbow Dash, not Element of Loyalty or Stupid Mare.
You are a mare, and you've been acting stupidly, Longstride replied. You also bear the element of loyalty. Show me something that benefits Rainbow Dash, and I'll use the name. Rainbow opened the box that Lioncourt had given her. It was packed with mountain-grown rice, fresh fruit slices, and bamboo shoots. She grabbed a hoofful and stuffed her mouth. She had eaten about 2/3 of the meal when she slid the box over to Longstride. Lioncourt had intended it for him after all.
Do you mean that?
She asked. For a moment, Longstride stared at Rainbow as if she was still mocking him. Then he went back to staring at the fire. Yes, he said softly. Okay, Rainbow is still paranoid about Longstride shooting her. Well, I don't think she's paranoid at the end of the chapter, but at the beginning of the chapter she certainly is. And we see a nice example of Lioncourt's, well, mind magic, you could say, or maybe his mind tricks, because he actually, well, Rainbow acted around him like he was like an old friend, I don't know, something like that, or a good acquaintance, someone he gets, someone she would get along with. So yeah, strange. Nice example here, and I'm really looking forward to what Rainbow Dash will have to do for Longstride to actually use her name. Sincerely yours, Visual Pony.